The new trailer, or more accurately teaser, for the live-action Cowboy Bebop series on Netflix released recently, and I haven't seen too many things before that are more polarizing. From the Anime Man and Iron Mouse to my friend Ivel and me, nobody can seem to agree whether this 2.5-minute video is brilliant or spells doom for the show. As for me, I'm in the crowd that loves the teaser. Yes, I know any optimism I have should come with the same amount of caution, considering most live-action anime content is mediocre at best and a disaster at worst, but I can't help but feel excited for the show. I'm Matrix, and in this video I'll tell you the top reasons why I think the new teaser is very good news for the show. The first big positive for me is the visual style. Cowboy Bebop Presents The Lost Session, as the video is called, has a number of incredibly creative transitions. Characters walk seamlessly between different scenes, stepping between manga panel-like divisions on the screen. The bars even become physical objects themselves, sliding around like stage curtains or even transforming into a weapon at one point. This gives a great amount of unity to the video. The style here is so much like one of my favorite directors, Edgar Wright, that I wondered if he were secretly brought in just to make this trailer. As many people pointed out on Twitter, there are a lot of shots that are very similar to ones in Edgar Wright's Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I understand why some people might find these visuals to be gimmicky or corny, and I agree that it would probably be overwhelming if the entire show were like this, but I doubt the show is going to have transitions like this every 5 seconds, or even necessarily use the pushing around the bars element. I think this was a very specific stylistic choice for the trailer to let us know that the show will be fast-paced but have balance between the personal elements and action. It also shows us that it won't be a grimdark approach, but rather something that isn't afraid to be lighthearted or campy when needed. Even disregarding the things that could be viewed as gimmicks, the teaser's cinematography has so much to take in. It plays around with color and many different camera angles, the fight choreography looks solid, and the CGI seems to be good from the brief glimpse we got. The second big thing I liked about the teaser, that I know a lot of people are divided on, is the tone. The dialogue is very laid back and sometimes a bit silly, reminiscent of old action films. We can already get a great feel for the relationships between the characters and the bickering family dynamic they'll have, without having anything spoon-fed to us. Plus, the exaggerated delivery of some of the lines is reminiscent of the anime medium that the original show came from. I've seen a lot of people saying it's too wacky or goofy, but an equal number of people pointing out that Cowboy Bebop the anime was never completely serious to begin with. I mean, it has an episode where the whole crew gets high on psychedelic mushrooms that make their corgi hop around. Spike is also someone who likes to have fun while he's fighting, and he'll taunt opponents. I think the general atmosphere of the trailer actually perfectly matches the show. And the video does show that it won't be all fun and games too. When Spike sees a knife at the noodle stand, it triggers a PTSD-like reaction, and you can see the fear and anger in his face. I think the show will be one that starts off very lighthearted and gets increasingly serious toward the end. The next big thing that really impresses me about the Cowboy Bebop teaser is the sound. To start, there's a fantastic jazzy soundtrack that sounds like it came straight out of the original anime, and at least part of it did, considering they're still using Tank by Seatbelts as the theme. Plus, the composer is Yoko Kanno, who did the score for the show. The music does a great job at accenting blows in the fight sequences too. I have absolutely no concerns with how the show will turn out from a music standpoint. In addition, I believe the cast does a fantastic job of approximating the feel of the voices of their original counterparts in the anime. Even if there are differences in the costuming, which doesn't really bother me at all, these people are definitely recognizable as the Bebop crew. And the cool thing is, if you happen to watch this show dubbed in Japanese when it comes out, the original anime voice cast are reprising their roles for the dubbing. The sound effects of the show are very strong as well, and feel very much anime inspired. And even though they're a bit over the top, they don't feel unnatural or out of place because the visuals and the acting are played up too. Overall, the Cowboy Bebop teaser leaves me quite optimistic for the show. I was already planning to give it a chance but not expecting much, but this makes me hopeful I'll actually have an enjoyable experience watching. One thing I want to emphasize is that the show is not Cowboy Bebop the anime. It's perfectly possible for it to be a good show of its own merits, even if it doesn't follow the anime's plot to a T or isn't a 100% match when it comes to style or mood. Sometimes, when you adapt a concept into a new medium, there are necessary changes to make to fit the constraints of that medium. The best possible adaptation won't always be a one-to-one shot-for-shot remake. Plus, it's worth noting that Shinichiro Watanabe, the director of the anime, is a creative consultant for the show. What about you? How does the teaser leave you feeling about the show? I'd love to know your opinions. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing for weekly content. I'm Matrix from Matrix AM, Anime, and more, and I hope you have a great day.